us on headlines now. Some on national news. The big story that's been emerging, breaking his silence on the Bhopal gas tragedy and the circumstances which resulted in the release of Warren Anderson. Arjun Singh, the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, said that Rajiv Gandhi never said anything to support Warren Anderson at the time of the tragedy, and to blame him for his release was unacceptable. But the big question remains that if it wasn't Rajiv Gandhi, then who was responsible for the release of Anderson, who was detained when he reached Madhya Pradesh? Arjun Singh says his chief secretary, who is now dead, had been receiving repeated calls from the Home Ministry in Delhi for Anderson's release, but he made it clear. Mr. Singh then told his secretary, do what you have to do, but ensure that Anderson can be summoned in the future according to the rules of the land. That quite clearly never happened. Meanwhile, it was yet another rocky day at the Parliament today as well. The BJP wants to know just what the Prime Minister meant when he suggested that autonomy for Kashmir can be considered within the ambit of the Constitution. The BJP says the very thought of autonomy is a reversal of Kashmir's integration with India. The party also raised it in the Rajya Sabha, causing a whole lot of sparks to fly.
स्वायत्तता के पर्दे में आज़ादी और कश्मीर में भारत के विलय की प्रक्रिया को अगर उलटने की कोशिश की जाएगी तो ये हमें बिल्कुल हम इसका समर्थन नहीं करेंगे और देश भी इसका समर्थन नहीं करेगा।
आपको लगता है कदम सही दिशा में उठाया है ये?
प्रधानमंत्री के विस्तार से चीजें आएंगी तो हम उसको देखेंगे। प्रधानमंत्री की टिप्पणी है, लेकिन हमारा दृष्टिकोण बहुत ही स्पष्ट है। जम्मू कश्मीर भारत का अंग है।
Staying with news from the Parliament today, after the opposition uproar over Mamata Banerjee's remarks paying tribute to Maoist leader Azad and questioning his killing by security forces, it was Home Minister P. Chidambaram's turn to face questions in the Parliament. He said no one from the government should ever back Maoists.
No one should support the CPI Maoists, and government certainly will not encourage anyone to support the CPI Maoists.
Thank you. We will remember this, Your Excellency. We will remember this, Excellency.
In the latest development in Mumbai's oil spill, a Sessions Court has granted interim relief to the captain of the MSC Chitra ship. This after the captain had applied for anticipatory bail, where he had stated that the collision happened because of navigational error, which was caused because of failure of radio communication. He also said that there was no error on his part. He added that there was no point of sending him to police custody as there was nothing to recover from him. In his application, the captain says that MV Khaligia, with which he had the collision, was not fit to sail at sea, and that it was the captain of this ship who was responsible for the accident. In news from Kolkata, adding insult to injury, the capital's La Martiniere School for Boys has now demanded fees from the father of Ruben Raula, the class 8 student who committed suicide 4 days after being caned by his principal. Ruben's father, Ajay Raula, received an SMS from the school this morning asking him to ensure that his bank account was sufficiently funded with so that the fee would be debited from it on the 13th of August. This is the second such SMS to Mr. Raula. The first came in June asking him to ensure that there was more than 9,500 rupees in his account, as that sum would be debited as fees on the 3rd of June. A day after the deadline to clear debris expired, the Chief Minister of Delhi, Sheila Dikshit, was out today doing a status check in person. Her convoy passed various parts of Delhi. Civic authorities are trying to clear the debris on a war footing. The Chief Minister yesterday said much of the debris has been cleared and the little remaining on the roads will be cleared soon. In business news, General Motors has delivered some stellar performances in the Indian markets by way of impressive sales figures in the passenger car segment. Now confident of a northbound growth trajectory, the management is also looking at diversifying into the commercial vehicles segment as well. But is this a cry for battle against the Tatas and the Mahindras? Ndtv-Hindu takes a look.
US-based auto major General Motors is looking for a bigger piece of the Indian auto pie, the second fastest growing automobile market in the world. General Motors has confirmed that it now plans on driving into the commercial vehicle segment. Borrowing the design from the 50-50 joint venture with SAIC of China, it plans on developing a light commercial vehicle.
And we've never played in the commercial vehicle segment before. So the first vehicles we've selected from our partner are commercial vehicles, and therefore we can now start to compete in that segment as well, and we'll be doing that around the end of next year.
The light commercial vehicle, or the LCV, will be pitched directly against market majors like the Tata Ace and Mahindra Maximo. However, the management is confident of challenging the auto giants in the sub 1-ton truck segment.
Because what we'll be offering is something that's value. So you'll be getting something in a Chevrolet commercial vehicle, value for money. And of course we know they're big names, but of course we know that we can challenge and hopefully give them a run for their money.
They accept that pricing is a critical factor, but the management says their focus will be on providing value for money and not the cheapest product. Meanwhile, 3 new stallions will emerge from the GM stables in the passenger car segment within the next 2 years. The management has hinted that being a volume player, the new entrants from GM will fight it out amongst the hatchbacks or mid-size sedans. In Chennai, this is Ashmit Kumar for Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, that's certainly entering a very competitive territory. Now, the countdown has begun. It's 11 days more to go for Madras Day. And what would our city be without its various historic structures and places that remind us of our rich history? We're not going to let you guess for that so as to lead into that 22nd of August celebrations. Our reporter Natasha visited one such place gleaming with old memories.
Times have changed, people have changed, and the city of course has evolved from Madras to Chennai. But what is it that we can recollect from good old Madras days? Well, you've obviously heard of the Madras Boat Club, and that's exactly where we are today. I'm seated here along the banks of the Adyar River, and I'm with the president of the boat club, Mr. Gopal Madhavan, who has been here since 1958, right here at this place. Could you tell us what the heritage of the Madras Boat Club is and what it was back then when the city was called Madras?
See, the Madras Boat Club has always been a place where it was a young men's club, and rowing basically is a young men's sport. It is normal for a young executive of any of the institutions to be sort of guided and pointed towards the Madras Boat Club as a place to join, to take up some rowing. In my case also exactly that. I was just called up and said, I'll see you at the boat club at 6 o'clock in the morning by one of the directors, and that was it. So you were not given too much of a choice, but then a lot of us enjoyed it so much, we kept going at it. See, the boat itself is divided into different parts. They got the bow, the stern, the rudder, the keel, etc. So when we were naming different restaurants and bars, etc., we had the bow side as a party area, we had a stroke side which was a meeting hall cum party area, we had midwaters which was a dining area, and we had ECOs, which is the order which is given when the race is over and you can relax, and that was our bar. So that's what we did in naming each one of our recreation areas into one part of the boat.
This is the famous boat shed, which can hold about 30 odd boats, I'm guessing. And back when the city was called Madras, we started with the basic wooden oars. And today it is about 30 lakhs worth of brand new equipment called Concept 2 blades, of course, which is made of fiberglass. And that goes to prove what the club once was and what it is today.
Well, certainly a landmark that's close to a lot of our hearts. That's a wrap on this bulletin. Do stay with us for the Tamil news that's coming up next.